Part 9 is the duties of the operator. So let's first start off with what is the operator. So this is the person responsible for use of a motor vehicle of any class contemplated in Chapter 5 and being registered as the operator of such vehicle. So again, they must be registered as dangerous goods operators with relevant licensing authority where vehicle is registered and licensed. They must make sure that an operator card is displayed on all vehicles. So you as a driver, you must also make sure that the operator card is on the vehicle. So all vehicles need the operator card when transporting goods, and specifically dangerous goods. What are the duties of the operator? So the operator must agree on a basic route with the driver. They must inform local authorities en route and provide full information on products if it is requested. They must also ensure the driver has a PRDP. They must notify the emergency services and police of any incidents involving their vehicle and must prepare an incident report in accordance with Annex D and submit to relevant government departments within 30 days of an incident. These are the duties of the operator. They must also replace and repair vehicles, and they must transfer of cargo as a result of overloading or an incident between scheduled loading and offloading points must be treated as incident that requires emergency services, and they must be notified. The duties of the operator again, the operator must submit vehicle for full roadworthy and compliance inspection if it is involved in an accident with the risk of damage to cargo or contaminated areas. They must supply driver with safety equipment as per trim cards and provide training in use of it. So the trim cards that we spoke about earlier, this will be supplied to you again by the qualified person as well as the operator, and they will explain to you or they'll run you through the trim card with it. Remember, the dangerous goods declaration you'll also get, but that will be from the qualified person. You must ensure that insurance is in place for civil liability, recovery of spills, and rehabilitation. The operator must also be notified by the driver in the event of a mechanical breakdown immediately. So who do you call if your truck or the vehicle you're transporting dangerous goods in gets stuck, doesn't want to switch on or doesn't want to start? You call the operator. The operator must be notified when packages are to be opened, unloading or decanting or to occur due to overloading or incompatibility issues, and they must arrange a qualified person. So if you as a driver, you looked at your compatibility chart and you see class 4.1 can't go with class 3, what does that mean? It means you need to contact your operator so they can make sure that they can get a qualified person to handle the issue of the incompatibility. Vehicle inspections. Vehicle must be registered for transport of dangerous goods. They must be inspected regularly to ensure their sound mechanical condition and ability to operate safely. Detailed records must be kept, must either be carried out at, at operator's depot by suitably qualified staff or subcontracted to competent workshop. So again, let's go over what we've learned here. So we know that the operator is the person responsible for the use of a motor vehicle of any class contemplated in Chapter 5 and has been registered as the operator of such vehicle. They must be registered as a dangerous goods operator with the relevant licensing authority. So please make sure. Remember, the operator card needs to be on the vehicle, and you as a driver also need to ensure that it is there. Now, some of the basic duties they have, they must agree on a basic route with you as a driver, and they must inform local authorities en route and provide full information of a product if it is requested. They must also ensure that you as a driver, that you have a PRDPD for dangerous goods. They must also submit vehicle for full roadworthy and compliance inspection and supply the driver with safety equipment. Operator, again, for you as a driver, the operator must be notified when packages are to be opened, or unloading or decanting are to occur due to overloading or incompatibility issues. So again, as a driver, you need to make sure that you are not overloading the vehicle, and just make sure that the goods that are being loaded are compatible. Otherwise, you report to the operator. The vehicle must be registered again for transport of dangerous goods, meaning it has an operator card that shows category D. The detailed records must be kept, and this must be carried out at an operator's depot by suitably qualified staff or subcontracted to competent workshop. Part 10 is the duties of the driver. So the driver must have a valid PRD for all vehicles they will be transporting. So if you have category 10 or code 10, code EC, you must have a PRDP on your license that is valid. And you must be fit to drive as per the National Road Traffic Act. You must be able to interpret and implement instructions of TREM cards. So all the instructions given on the TREM card, you must be able to follow those procedures in the event of an emergency or an incident. You must receive annual comprehensive theoretical and practical training relevant to the type of vehicle and dangerous goods assigned to him or her, including procedures specific to the cargo or to the load. Now, what are the duties of the driver? We'll start with our preliminary checks. So before driving to loading site, the driver needs to check that a valid dangerous goods operator card is displayed. Remember, that's the circle operating card that goes on the windshield. The vehicle is roadworthy, which will be done by the operator. Vehicle is fit for use by going through checklist at start of journey. The vehicle is free from any product likely to contaminate load or create a safety hazard. Now, your preloading checks. So before loading is commenced, drivers shall ensure that the site appears suitable for the operation. The vehicle is positioned as directed for loading. So they will direct you on how to park, where to reverse, and it is a suitable position, or you need to make sure that it is a suitable position for the operation. Permission is given for loading to commence by a consignee or a qualified person. So you wait for the consigner or the qualified person to give you permission before the loading commences. There are more duties of the driver. This is your post-loading check. In other words, after the dangerous goods have been loaded. So you as a driver must make sure that the correct tech cards and dangerous goods declaration is stored in a designated space. Remember, the designated space was your orange file that says documents, and you must make sure the tech card and dangerous goods declaration reflect what dangerous goods are being transported. Only documents for current load are in the designated space. All extraneous documentation must be removed. So if you're loading a specific type of dangerous goods before and you had your tech card, but now they have given you a different type of dangerous goods to load, you must take out the old tech card and the old dangerous goods declaration. Why? Because in an emergency situation where the emergency services or law enforcement is there to help assist with the incident, they don't want to pick up another tech card indicating the type of substance when the vehicle had a completely different type of substance. So it's important that when they take your folder, that they pick up the right documents showing the right products that are on the paper or also in the vehicle, not any old papers or old products or documents showing that those are different products. The necessary safety equipment in accordance with the tech card is on board, and he or she understands the information and instructions on the tech card. Remember, make sure your orange diamonds and placards are always in place unless you have unloaded or offloaded your dangerous goods. Vehicle is not over or underloaded as to present a safety risk, and the load is secured. So make sure that the products that are put or loaded on the vehicle, they won't fall over while you're driving. They are secured and you're not overloading or underloading. Let's look at our en route procedures. So you must follow the agreed route. You must not participate in any other activities not related to you or not related to the load, excuse me. So it means you cannot stop at a petrol station to buy yourself Coke or cigarettes. You must not participate in other activities if it is not related to the load. No unauthorized passengers are allowed in the vehicle. So you can't become a taxi while you're transporting dangerous goods because it is convenient for your friends. You're not allowed to pick anyone up. Only stop at agreed places. Our vehicles carrying dangerous goods shall be under constant supervision, stopped or parked if opening of packages, unloading, or decanting of any reason is not permitted, except in authorized and properly equipped area under supervision of a qualified person and the operator has been informed. So regulatory triangles must be placed on the road and the operator must be informed immediately. Instructions on tech cards must be followed and necessary assistance must be given to emergency services. Tech cards and dangerous goods declarations must be handed over to the emergency services when requested. Time limits for driving periods. This is quite important for drivers not accompanied by a person qualified and authorized to drive such a vehicle. So it is as follows. The driving periods over here, we see a maximum of 5 hours continuous drive time. Should not drive more than 5 hours in one transportation load. Now, the maximum total is 14 hours driving time in a period of 24 hours. So you cannot drive more than 14 hours in a period of a day in 24 hours. Why? Because it becomes dangerous when drivers become tired and they do not focus on the roads. Resting periods. So there's a minimum resting period of 15 minutes. So if you take a break after your 5 hours of continuous driving, there will be a resting period. The minimum will be 15 minutes. The minimum resting period with total of 30 minutes accumulated during period of 5.5 hours, and the minimum continuous resting periods of 9 hours or is 9 hours in a period of 24 hours. So remember 9 hours will equivalent to the difference between the 24 hours and the 14 hours. You cannot drive more than 14 hours in a day, which means you need 9 hours where you're not transporting dangerous goods or you're getting rest. A professional driving permit or PRDP, which is why you're doing this course. Certain drivers need to hold a PRDP as follows. Goods vehicles, a gross vehicle mass of which exceeds 3.5 tons. A motor vehicle, the gross vehicle mass of which exceeds 3.5 tons, to which regulations 273 to 283 apply, as contemplated in regulation 274. Now, to avoid delays and late deliveries of loads, it is recommended that you apply for a PRDP-D in any event. It also helps with job seeking if you add category D. So just to explain, you get a normal professional driving permit, which is for normal goods and passengers. If you are transporting the vehicle which exceeds 3.5 tons. But if you want to transport dangerous goods, you need a PRDP for category D. If you look at the back of your license, you'll see the different categories. So the D is for dangerous goods. Now, all drivers must be trained in unit standard 123259, which is convey dangerous goods by road, which is this course we are doing, and expected to carry out this proof to present such proof when requested to do so by law enforcement officers. Now, you must be 25 years or older to apply for this category. So at the traffic department, when you bring the certificate that you get after this, you need to make sure or you need to be 25 years or older if you are applying for category D. Otherwise, they will not issue you with a dangerous goods driving permit. Now, when can you not apply for PRDP? If you are under the age of 25 years old. This is for PRDP D for dangerous goods. You can get a normal PRDP if you are under 25, but for dangerous goods, you can't get it if you're under 25. Now, if you have a criminal record that is under 5 years old for reckless or negligent driving, you have committed violent crimes, drunk driving, and drugs, all of these will disqualify you from a dangerous goods driving permit at the traffic department. Now, personal protective equipment for drivers. Hazardous chemicals and toxic substances can enter the body in the following ways. Absorption, they can be absorbed through the skin. Inhalation by dust, gas, and fumes, so you can breathe in the dangerous goods gases. You can also by ingestion or by swallowing dangerous goods accidentally. Injection from sharp objects. So if you cut yourself on a dangerous goods item, there's a possibility of you being infected, and we call this injection. Now, once we know possible routes of entry of substances, we can prevent contamination in the following methods. Elimination, we can transfer, substitution, engineering, admin, and PPE. Here are your different examples of your personal protective equipment for your drivers. So let's go over what we've learned. We know that as a driver for dangerous goods, you must have a PRDP for dangerous goods. You must also receive annual comprehensive theoretical or practical training that is relevant to the type of vehicle or dangerous goods assigned to you, meaning that you need to renew your dangerous goods certificate once a year. Now, some of the duties for you as a driver is that you must make sure that the operator card is displayed on the vehicle and that the vehicle is roadworthy. And the vehicle must also be fit to use by going through the checklist at the start of the journey. That's for yourself. And then the vehicle must be free from any product likely to contaminate the load or create a danger. Now, before you load any dangerous goods, you must make sure that the site is suitable for the operation and that the vehicle is positioned and directed for loading. And make sure that you have been given permission for loading to commence by either the consignor or the qualified person. Now, after loading dangerous goods, you as a driver, you must make sure that you have the correct tech cards and dangerous goods declaration stored in the designated space. Remember to remove any old dangerous goods declaration cards or documents, as well as any old tech cards. The tech cards and dangerous goods declaration documents must be relevant to the load that you're currently transporting at that time. Now, remember, um, you must always follow the agreed route. You may not pick up any passengers along the way or stop and do any activities that are not related to the load. Now, vehicles carrying dangerous goods shall be under constant supervision if they are stopped or parked if opening of packages or unloading of any reason is not permitted except in authorized and properly equipped areas under supervision of a qualified person. And remember, the operator must be informed or notified. Remember to put your triangles, they must be placed on the road, and the operator, again, they must be informed. And as a driver, again, remember your tech card. You must follow any instructions on the tech card relating to the dangerous goods if an incident occurs. As a driver, just a reminder, you may not drive for more than 5 hours continuously. You must take a minimum of 15 minutes break if you have been driving for 5 hours. And remember, in a day, you cannot drive for more than 14 hours in a day. So make sure that you don't get abused with this, because companies like to make you drive because they don't want to, again, pay for accommodation and stuff. So make sure you get at least 9 hours of sleep or rest during a 24-hour period. Now, remember, to qualify for PRDP, you need to be at least 25 years old and you need to be fit. You will not qualify for PRDP for dangerous goods if you're under 25 years old or if you have a criminal record that is under 5 years old, or if you've committed any violent crimes or drunk driving and drugs and so on. Remember to have your personal protective equipment with you. Remember, the toxic substances and hazardous chemicals can enter the body in the following ways: can be absorbed through the skin, can be inhaled through the mouth, ingested if you swallow it by accident, or if you scratch yourself on the sharp object, which we call injection. Part 11 are the duties of the consignee. So let's look what they say. What is a consignee and what are they responsible for? So a consignee is the person who accepts dangerous goods which have been transported in a vehicle. So just a reminder, a consignor was the person who offers dangerous goods for transport. A consignee is the person who accepts dangerous goods of the transport. So what are they responsible for? They're responsible for offloading of dangerous goods. They provide the qualified person to carry out offloading procedures unless otherwise agreed upon amongst responsible parties. So what are some of their duties? The requirements that relate to offloading operations as per South African national standards. So a qualified person must ensure that the cargo or the product or the dangerous goods is correct and undamaged and there's no obvious spillage. The load is refused if in doubt as to whether goods can be offloaded without risk. Offloading operation doesn't proceed if considered unsafe. For bulk deliveries, sufficient space in tanks, fit to receive flow can be stopped immediately in the case of leakage. After offloading, vehicle is free from spillage and all valves closed. Part loads are properly secured. After offloading, documents reflect the change in load. Remember, this was for part loads. Placarding is removed if necessary, and documents removed from the designated space. So you see, you all work together. All of you guys will make sure that the placards are correct. The dangerous goods declaration as well as the tech cards go together, or they're removed once the load has been offloaded, and so on. They will also make sure that there is no residual remains on the vehicle and that it is free from contamination. The consignee must clean spillages. Okay, so it's quite a short chapter. You can see again, just to quickly go over what we learned. The consignee is the person who accepts dangerous goods for transport, and they are responsible for offloading the dangerous goods. They will provide the qualified person to carry out the offloading procedures, and they will make sure that the dangerous goods or the load is correct and it's not damaged and there's no obvious spillage. They can also refuse a load if they are worried that it will be that offloading will be dangerous or it will be too much of a high risk. They will make sure that there's sufficient space in the tanks to receive the different loads. And after offloading, they will make sure that the vehicle is free from spillage and that all valves are closed. They will also make sure if it is part loads, which means you are dropping off only a certain amount of loads or dangerous goods products, maybe at your first location, they will make sure that the documents reflect the change in the load. Part 12 is your vehicle compliance. So we're going to see which vehicles need which placards and how many fire extinguishers and placards and so on. So here it says what is vehicle compliance? So it's required that vehicles are properly registered and licensed. So this has all got to do with vehicle compliance. It must be maintained in 100% roadworthy condition. All dangerous goods vehicles require an annual roadworthy certificate, both light and heavy goods vehicles. They must be fitted with the prescribed signage and equipment according to SANS, the South African National Standards. Once signage and equipment have been fitted correctly, vehicles must be registered at the relevant local license department as Category D. This is very important for a dangerous goods carrier. So they are saying if you let's say you have a truck and you want to start transporting gas, that truck must be roadworthy first of all, and then there must be signage and proper equipment fitted to the vehicle. And the last thing that is very important, they must be registered at a relevant local license department as a Category D vehicle for a dangerous goods vehicle. Then vehicles must be submitted for inspection at a designated fire department. If the vehicle meets all South African national standards requirements, then a dangerous goods transport permit will be issued, and this permit is valid for 12 months. So basically, you get your vehicle compliant. So you get all the placards, all the signage, the stickers. You get make sure it's roadworthy, and then only once you've done all of that, then you send it for inspection your nearest fire department, and they are the ones who will issue you with the permit. Remember, the permit is the operator card. It's the one that goes on the windscreen. So it must be displayed on windscreens of dangerous goods vehicles on the left. Here's the example. This is what it will look like. Now, the municipal permits for panel vans and light delivery vehicle checklist. So you can take, if you're using a cell phone, you can take screenshots of this, or you can also find it online. I'm just going to run through it. So the driver must be shielded from the load, meaning you can't have a gas tank on the passenger seat. There must be 2 fire extinguishers, DCP, which is your dry chemical powder. There must be 2 quick release brackets. This will be for the fire extinguishers. There must be an orange warning diamond. There must be an operator card for category D, a document holder in a designated space, as we discussed, ventilation where applicable, and the sides must be 600 millimeters high or 60 centimeters high for open vehicles. There must also be 3 placards, remember, 1 for each side, and then also your 3 stickers. The 3 no smoking, remember, because it's 1 for each side, 3 no naked flame, and 3 no cell phones or battery isolator. So please remember, if you want, again, make notes or take notes or take a picture or take a screenshot, this is for your panel vans and light delivery vehicles. So we'll just take a look at some examples. This is incorrect. This is what we are looking for. Yeah, your quick release brackets. Yeah, is your DCP fire extinguisher, and there are 2 of them, as we can see. Yeah, is the 600 millimeter or the 60 centimeters rails on the side, as this is an open vehicle. Yeah, is your dangerous goods warning diamond. Remember, this must be on the front of all dangerous goods vehicles. And remember, when you offload the dangerous goods, you turn this around to indicate that there are no more dangerous goods in the vehicle. Yeah, is the operator card, and it shows category D. Yeah, is your designated space for the documents. This is where you can keep all your tech cards, as well as your dangerous goods declaration and your dangerous goods certificate, if you want to keep that there as well. Here's a nice example. This vehicle is 100% compliant. Why? We can see there's a placard over there, there's a placard over there, and there most likely is a placard on the opposite side. 3 stickers, 3 stickers, and there will be 3 stickers on that side as well. 2 fire extinguishers. In the front, there should be a warning diamond, hazard warning diamond, and then there will be an operator card on the vehicle over there as well. Then this vehicle is 100% compliant. From here, they can send it to the fire department, remember, to get the permit and to make sure that they can inspect this and say, okay, this vehicle is 100% compliant with the dangerous goods regulations. Yeah, here's the municipal permits for truck or tractors checklist. Again, feel free to take notes or take pictures. 1 fire extinguisher for this one, also dry chemical powder. 1 quick release bracket, orange warning diamond, exhaust shield or flammables from flammables explosives, operator card, document holder, battery cover or insulated, that is insulated and ventilated. So battery isolator switch with an on and off position must be marked. I'll show you what this is now. So here we can see there's 1 fire extinguisher with a quick release bracket. Here we can see this is a bigger vehicle with still has the appropriate warning hazard warning diamond over here. Here we can see the diamond warning again, and here we can see what they were talking about regarding the exhaust shield, to make sure that it's not flammable explosives, because if the exhaust can cause sparks, we don't want any sort of fumes igniting in vehicles such as these. Again, here's your operator card. There's your document holder for the designated space. There is your battery isolator switch. This is to make sure that we can switch off the vehicle at any time in case of an incident. There we go. So you'll see the checklists are quite similar. What you need to understand, or the main things that you need to know, make sure that they are there, is that there's fire extinguishers. You must see whether you need one or two. There's an operator card on the vehicle. There's a hazard warning diamond, and that there are the relevant placards and stickers on all three sides of the vehicle. Those are the main things that you need to know. For heavier vehicles, there will be a battery isolator switch as well. So municipal permits for skeletal goods or trailers checklist. Again, 2 fire extinguishers, dry chemical powder, 2 quick release brackets, an operator card for category D, high size of 60 centimeters or 600 millimeters for gas or unsecured loads, in other words, for open vehicles. 3 placard brackets, 3 no smoking signs, no naked flames, and no cell phone signs, 3 on each side. Here are some examples. Here we can see the 2 fire extinguishers, one on each side. Here is the frame because this is an open vehicle. Here is the operator card again for category D, showing normal goods and dangerous goods. Here is the hazard warning diamond in the front. Here is your designated space or the document folder. Here we can see there's a placard at the bottom of this vehicle. It must also be at the back and the other side, remember. There is the high mounted cage over here to make sure that these don't fall out or turn over. There are the 3 no smoking, no open flame, and no cell phone signs. And there's the hazard warning label. There's also a fire extinguisher over there. So this is another example of a fully compliant vehicle. Over here, we can see, depending on the size of the vehicle, the cage might need to be higher to make sure that the goods don't fall out or fall over. Here's your placard, here's your hazard class. We've been through this, the UN number showing there, the stickers. Remember, okay, regarding the stickers, they must always be next to each other. So it doesn't matter if they go down from top to bottom, or if you put them in a triangle, but they must always be next to each other. You can't have one stick over there, one stick over here, and one stick over there. They must always be next to each other. But when you do your vehicle compliance, the company you use to get the placards or stickers or any sort of signage, they'll advise you where to put the stickers and the placards. And they'll also make sure it's the correct sizing and all that for you. Here's a battery isolator switch again. Now, municipal permits for rigid tanks, trucks, and tank trailers. So just a reminder, remember with tankers, we never remove the placards. So because even when we offload, let's say we offload the petrol or diesel, whichever product we're transporting in here, we never remove the hazard warning sign as well as the placards. These ones stay on for tankers. Please always remember that. We do not turn these ones around. Why? Because at the bottom of this tanker, there may still be residue, maybe leftover product, which means this can be highly combustible. It is more dangerous when it is almost empty. Okay, so they will also need 2 fire extinguishers, 2 quick release brackets, an operator card for category D, an orange warning diamond for the trucks, a document holder in the designated space, 3 placards or brackets, 3 no smoking signs, 3 no naked flame signs, and 3 no cell phone signs. Remember, these normally come as stickers. Pipe fittings must not project, meaning it should not come out the side of the vehicle. I think we have an example on the next slide. So they must have a rear bumper to protect the tank and pipes from collision. Why? Because collisions can cause sparks which can ignite tankers. And most of the times, the product in tankers are highly flammable. It is normally class 3. You can see the red diamond over there. 2 wheel chokes that are non-spark, meaning they must be plastic wheel chokes so they do not cause any flames. Remember with tankers, guys, it's class 3 is your flammable liquids and they are highly volatile. Remember, we learned about this in the 9 hazard classes. Class 3 and class 4, your flammable liquids and flammable solids are highly volatile or volatility and combustibility is extreme. It's extremely dangerous when dealing with these types of dangerous goods. So we don't want to cause any sort of friction or sparks when transporting or loading or offloading on these types of vehicles. The battery cover must be insulated and ventilated, and battery isolator switch with an on and off positions will be marked. Here's your operator card, again, dangerous goods, category D. Here's your fire extinguisher, hazard warning diamond, designated space for document holder. These are the chokes, so they're just showing where it's stored on the vehicle in case you need to use them. Yeah, we can see the placard must be on all three sides. I don't actually think we see it in this example over here, but remember, there must the placard over here, there must be an operator number, a specialist number over here, and this placard must be on the vehicle. And it must be on each side, as well as these three stickers on each side of the vehicle. Yeah, as your isolator, battery isolator switch once again, and that's where you can turn it on or off. As we said earlier, pipes and fittings may not project, so they cannot come out the sides. And here is the rear bumper to make sure that in the event of an incident or an accident, that we do not touch the tanker itself and cause any sort of sparks, which could lead to an incident or a combustion. Yeah, it shows you electrical bonding. While they're showing you this, this is because these brakes, again, just like when if you're towing a vehicle or a trailer, it must show that these brake lights are also working. If you must be connected to electrical bonding, and there must be continuity going through here. So meaning when you brake over here, it brakes over there. I'm quite sure that's quite self-explanatory. Okay, here are some more examples. Here are your wheel chokes. Again, fire extinguisher. Here's your railings, because this must be at least 60 centimeters high. If it needs to be higher, you can adjust, but there must be a minimum of 60 centimeters, as this is an open vehicle. DG operator card. Yeah, we can see the same example. Here's your placard. Here's your vehicle signage. There's your fire extinguisher, and here are your wheel chokes. The wheel chokes don't necessarily need to be on the outside, but as long as they are accessible when you are offloading dangerous goods. This is not allowed. Why? Because it doesn't have the railings. It is an open truck, which means it must have at least a minimum of 600 or 60 centimeters railing or frame. Okay, let's go over what we've learned. Remember that vehicles must be properly registered and licensed. They must undergo a roadworthy test, and this must be done annually. They must get a roadworthy certificate. They must also be fitted with the prescribed signage and equipment for the dangerous goods they will be transporting. Remember, once signage and equipment have been fitted correctly, the vehicles must be registered at a relevant local license department as Category D. And once that's all done, you then take the vehicle to your nearest fire department, so that you can get a dangerous goods transport permit, which will be valid for 12 months. Remember to go over all the prescribed signage that is relevant for the vehicle. I'm just going to give you the basics. You must have 3 placards on each side that is relevant to the dangerous goods being transported. You must have 3 stickers on each side. Remember, it's the no smoking sign, the no flame sign, and the no cell phone sign. There must be a dangerous goods hazard warning in the front. That is the orange diamond in the front of it. You must have the basics of 2 fire extinguishers with quick release brackets. You must have an operator card that is registered for category D. Those are your basic vehicle requirements. But again, please make sure to go through your specific vehicle. And if you're ever applying for vehicle compliance, or you're trying to update your vehicle to make sure that it is dangerous goods compliant, you can speak to your dangerous goods institution, or the company that you get your placards and signage from. They will advise you exactly the placards that you will need. The last chapter is part 13. This is our basic firefighting and first aid. So let's see what they say here. Your fire extinguishers, So dangerous goods vehicles must be equipped with the prescribed portable fire extinguishers of dry chemical powder type. This is called DCP for short. So they must be suitable for Class A, Class B, and Class C fires. So we'll go through the different classes shortly. And then it says here, your trucks or tractors must have one 9 kilogram external fire extinguisher, and your trailers must have two 9 kilograms a minimum external fire extinguishers. Light motor vehicles less than 3.5 tons, they must have two 4.5 kilograms or one 9 kilogram fire extinguisher. So please remember this. Truck or tractors can have one 9 kilogram fire extinguisher. Your trailers must have two 9 kilogram fire extinguishers. And your light motor vehicle, you can either have two 4.5 kilograms or one 9 kilogram fire extinguisher. And remember, it must be your dry chemical powder, your DCP. There are some examples. This is not a quick release bracket. You can see this is wrong. Over here, we have a blue label, and we can see the quick release brackets over here. This is correct. Yeah, we can see people trying to put out the fire. Please do not try to do that, especially so close to the vehicle. The emergency services are the ones who will be needing to put out a fire. This fire is not controllable by two people and a hose or some sort of fire hydrant they are using. So fire extinguishers must be mounted on quick release brackets, as we've discussed. They must be protected from negative environmental and operational influences. Example, your corrosives. So please make sure that your fire extinguishers do not get any sort of substances on them while you're transporting or offloading any sort of dangerous goods, especially not your corrosives. As remember, corrosives can disintegrate material. They must not be mounted at 90 degrees or 180 degrees, rather at 45 degrees, as this angle prevents compaction of monoammonium phosphate powder. So what they're saying is the fire extinguishers must be at a 45-degree angle, because if we put them upright, over time, the chemical powder starts to compact at the bottom and it's not as efficient. So if it's at an angle, while you drive the vehicle, it can move up and down, and it allows for the dry chemical powder to be more efficient when you do, in case you need to use it. So you must be provided with seals to verify non-usage. So your fire extinguishers must have their seals on, otherwise we don't know if they are in full or empty. The gauges the pressure must be correct. The labels, the last or next date for service, and there must be a SANS 1910 approval mark. So here's an example of your gauge, and here we'll see the date and any comments regarding the fire extinguisher usage or if it is expired. Okay, so here's the fire classes. So remember, we need to be able to handle Class A, Class B, and Class C fires. So Class A fires are your ordinary combustibles. This is wood, paper, rubber, fabrics, and many plastics. Class B is your flammable liquids and gases: gasoline, oils, paint, lacquer, and tar. And then Class C, fires involving any electrical or live electrical equipment. So we need to make sure that our fire extinguisher is appropriate for Class A, Class B, and Class C types of fires. As an example, this fire is obviously too big to handle, and this should not be done. Emergency services will deal with this. Your job is to contact the emergency services. How to use fire extinguishers? So first thing we're going to do is we're going to call for help if the fire is serious or if it is a large fire. If the fire is too dangerous, you call for help. Please do not try to be Superman. It's important. If you feel like you can't handle the fire, you probably won't be able to. Rather call for help. That is your first step. This will be after assessing the fire. Check your own safety before extinguishing the fire. Assess the fire. This will all be done intuitively. You'll see if there is a fire. You'll be able to make these decisions relatively quick. Now check the type of fire extinguisher, ready the fire extinguisher, aim for the base of the fire, and use the pass method, which we'll quickly go over now. So tend to the area. After successfully putting out the fire, please buy a new fire extinguisher or refill and service the old fire extinguisher. You cannot drive around with fire extinguishers that have been used or if they have not been serviced for many months or years even. Please make sure whenever you use a fire extinguisher that you refill or buy a new one. Remember, it must have a sealed label on the fire extinguisher. So the pass method, this is pull, aim, squeeze, and sweep. Please remember this method. You're going to start with P, which is pull the safety pin from the handle. Then you're going to aim at the base of the fire, not at the flames. Please, this is very important. If you do not aim at the base, you're not putting out the fire. Then you're going to squeeze the handle slowly to discharge the agent, the dry chemical powder, and then you're going to sweep from side to side, left to right. Okay, please, you can hold this about 15 centimeters, but it depends on the size of the fire. But please, again, just a reminder, the first step is to assess the fire. Make sure that it is not too serious or dangerous. If it is, then you will call for help first. Then if you think you can put out the fire, if it doesn't harm or affect your health or your safety, then you're going to look at the fire extinguisher and you're going to apply the pass method. The pass method is pull, aim, squeeze, and sweep. You're going to pull the safety pin. You're going to aim at the base of the fire, not at the flames. Then you're going to squeeze the handle slowly to discharge the dry chemical powder. And then you're going to go from left. If you successfully put out the fire without calling emergency services, make sure that you now buy a new fire extinguisher or refill or service the old fire extinguisher. Now, tips for fire extinguishers: replace the fire extinguisher if it needs recharging or is damaged. Service extinguishers every 6 months. This needs to be regularly checked. Pressure test the extinguisher after a few years to ensure cylinder is safe to use. Shake dry chemical extinguishers once a month to prevent powder from settling or packing. So remember, we said we want to keep it at 45 degrees. This helps preventing powder from compacting. But you can, if to be safe, once a month, just shake the fire extinguisher to make sure that it is not settling at the bottom of the extinguisher. Yeah, we can see some examples. There's the seal that must be on it. There's your dry chemical powder. Remember over here, it will show you class A, class B, class C, which types of fires. Remember, if the type of fire or the type of class is not listed on here, you must not try to put out that fire. These fire extinguishers are specific to certain classes, A, class B, class C. And those are the ones that we deal with dangerous goods. First aid and chemical exposure. So if a chemical splashes into or onto your, number one will be your eyes, please flush with water for 15 minutes. Go to an eye wash station and hold eyes open and flush the eyes. You can see how damaged this person unfortunately got because of the handling dangerous goods. Obviously, a chemical got into their eyes. If it gets onto your skin, immediately wash the area with soap and water to remove the chemical as soon as possible. Remove the clothing that you are wearing or the clothing that was splashed, as it can cause further damage. Now, inhalation through the lungs, please recognize the signs. So dizziness, nausea, upset stomach, go to a fresh area quickly or sit or lie down. So you might, the problem with inhalation is you don't always realize that you have inhaled a toxic substance or a dangerous good chemical. So please make sure if you feel dizzy or nauseous or you have an upset stomach or you just don't feel right, please make sure to go to fresh air quickly, get away from the product that you are handling. And if it is swallowed, then refer to the material data safety sheet label if available. But in the meantime, drink milk or water just to act as a base, and do not induce vomiting. Do not try to vomit the substance out. Now, seek medical help if a chemical has come into contact with your eyes, nose, or mouth. The material safety data sheet calls chemical hazardous, likely to cause damage. Container labels warns of corrosive contents, can wear away skin. Chemical causes a large burn. There's difficulty breathing after exposure. Please remember, it's always important to contact any sort of medical institution or business or doctor if you do suffer from any sort of contact with dangerous goods. You don't have to wait for the problem to escalate just because it was small. You are always welcome, of course, to go visit your nearest doctor in any sort of incident when dealing with dangerous goods. Now, while you wait for help, if someone else has come in contact with a dangerous good substance or a chemical substance, and they've been in contact with the skin or the eyes, and they've been injured, while you wait for help, you can reassure the conscious victim. If they pass out, you can perform rescue breathing or CPR. Keep the airway open. You can put them on the recovery position on side. You can record details and signs. Yeah, we can see some examples. But remember, the first step in a situation like this is to call for help. This is while you wait for help, what you can do. Okay, let's go over what we've learned. We know that dangerous goods vehicles need to have fire extinguishers. Your trucks must have a 9 kilogram fire extinguisher. They only need one of them. Your trailers must have two 9 kilogram fire extinguishers, and your light motor vehicles, which means they are less than 3.5 tons, they can either have two 4.5 kilogram fire extinguishers, or they can have one 9 kilogram fire extinguisher. Remember, just some advice, if you can mount the brackets at a 45-degree angle, please do, as it helps reduce the agent from being compacted over time. Remember to service your fire extinguisher every 6 months. How to use the fire extinguisher? Remember to call for help first if the fire is too dangerous or too large. Now, if you can put out the fire after you've assessed the fire, you're going to look at the type of fire extinguisher and you're going to ready the fire extinguisher, meaning you're going to use the pass method. Remember the pass method? It was pull, aim, squeeze, and sweep. So you're going to pull the safety pin from the handle, you're going to aim at the base of the fire, you're going to squeeze the handle slowly to discharge, and you're going to sweep from left to right. I remember, after using a fire extinguisher, please make sure that you refill it or you buy a new one, and make sure that you do regular services. Other tips for fire extinguishers is to do a pressure test after a few years to ensure the cylinder is safe to use. And then once a month, if you remember, or if you can, please try to shake the fire extinguisher. This helps prevent the powder from settling. Remember, while you wait for help, please reassure any conscious victims. You are allowed to perform rescue breathing or CPR, but keep the airway open and put the person in a recovery position on their side. That is the end of our Convey Dangerous Goods by Road training. Now, we did move through the course relatively quickly, so please make sure that you download the learning material. You are welcome to download the slides that we have gone through to help you with your assessment. You can go over any sort of sections that you weren't familiar with or didn't completely understand. You may also go back in the videos that you have just watched to find sections if you want to go over them again, just to make sure you have a solid understanding. Now, when you feel ready or you feel confident in your knowledge of the learning material, you can proceed to the final assessment. It is a multiple choice assessment. It's online. Now, we do not charge you to take the assessment, but you have 3 attempts only to pass the assessment before you will be locked out. Please make sure, if you do not pass on your first attempt, that you go back to the learning material and go uncover or unpack any sections where you felt you weren't strong or didn't understand enough. Only if you pass the online test will you receive an email with instructions about how to collect your dangerous goods certificates. Just to give you a basic idea, if you want to get your dangerous goods certificates or documents online, there will be a pay now button. You can pay online or you can wait to receive an invoice. An invoice will only be sent during our business hours. Please understand that we are not a 24/7 drive through. We only work or operate during our business hours. If you want to pay online, meaning you want to receive your documents online, once you pay, the documents will be sent within 2 hours. There's a total of 4 documents. Now you need to print and laminate all the documents except for the receipt. Now, it's important, please make sure if you are going to do it online, that when you get your documents, you don't just print the documents, you also laminate the documents. If you do not laminate the documents, the traffic department will not accept your documents. They will tell you it's not the original, but it's just because it's not laminated. We've had these problems before. Please make sure you laminate the documents. We'll send you the instructions with the documents on how to print and laminate. If you prefer to collect your documents, you want to pay only when you collect, then you must just notify us the day before or the day of. Please do not walk in and expect your documents to be waiting for you. You must contact us and tell us you are going to be collecting so that we can process the documents for you. And then you're welcome to pay cash or card when you collect. Good luck with the assessments. Please make sure again you download the learning material and you review everything and you feel confident before you write the test. If you do have any questions, you can use our WhatsApp line to contact us, or you can give us a call directly.